Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. I know it was in a warm one today, that's for sure. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm in a bit of a new setting, and I'll explain why. Although to me, it's actually not very new at all, because this is the route that I used to take to school every day. Well, every day there was school, obviously. So yeah, I'm in Madrid. That's the first thing. Why am I in Madrid? Because I know that some of you are aware that I was embarking on a flight this week, or two flights, because I'm going back tomorrow. And yeah, I didn't really explain why. I mean, it's all to do with. Remember, I said there was a few boring details of stuff that were going on last week a little bit that I skipped over, which incidentally got a hilarious reaction from my mum, because she was watching it in real time, not in real time, she was watching it in another room to me, and because she knew I could hear her responses, she was going like, oh, I don't really want to skip, no thanks, no one wants to hear about this, yes we do. It's like, yeah, I mean, not that she doesn't know too much of it anyway, but yeah, this is a time where I really had to talk about that stuff, because, I mean, look where it's taken me. So, yeah, what's been going on is, the language assistance program that I did last year, they've been having a few problems. But there's been a change to the rules for non-government sponsored groups in Andalusia that are doing the program, and they don't like the new rules because the new rules don't apply to the government ones who are doing the exact same thing as they were doing before. I forget the exact details. So basically, Andalusia said, no, we're not doing this anymore. You can figure it out from here. And so they are. They said that they were prioritizing placements of people who got into Andalusia, but have now had to relocate. Because I think the whole of Andalusia might have stopped doing it, not just the independent ones. So I think that's what's been going on. Also, there have been issues with background checks, because the police department in the UK took forever this year, and everyone was complaining about it. Not that they didn't provide the background check, or at least one of the two that I needed. I will get to that in a second. I'm saying that again from the confusing gotcha. I'll get that in a second. I promise it won't be as long-winded as that Angel Edits video, that's for sure. That Angel Edits video could have done with a few edits from me, let me tell you. But yeah, we what was I going to say? Yeah, that's so because of that, they haven't got back to anyone about placements, and it's starting to get a bit worrying. So I've been trying to go through a few alternate routes to basically more or less do the exact same thing here in Madrid, which was the intention from the beginning. And what's the problem there? Well, apart from the fact that, of course, with independent stuff, they sometimes will demand extra qualifications that I do not currently possess, or they'll require like maximum experience and such. So I can get recommended certain links, and my usual response is to check the links very quickly, make a capture of the qualifications that are on the front page, and send them back. So that's what I've been doing. But for some of them, it turned out, there was this actually, has some promise. During the first batch that my dad ended up sending me, that weren't the ones I was looking at the time, I never got around to telling them about those ones. Those ones actually, it turns out it was a bit of a Goldilocks situation, because the final one was just right. So yeah, I sent them. Well, the boring part last week was me updating my CV and sending that in to them. and also to some others, but mostly them. You know, they're the ones I care about. So yeah, and then they got back to me and they said and I mentioned in an email that they don't offer any help with work or study visas, because this is just not thing they do. And part of how to get a work visa is you have to get a work permit from a company. So I guess if they don't do that, they need me to have one already. So I've been messaging them back and forth from emails and also on WhatsApp, because I'll be sending an audio as well. And as of today, you know, they're still wishing me luck with that. They're clearly still interested in, you know, my profile and in, you know, my persona, let's say. But yeah, they're saying, you know, do what you can. Best of luck. So they're not saying, you know, that we're not interested, or, you know, don't bother, which is, you know, I feel like a very key and important distinction there. But another thing that they actually also require is a background check from Spain specifically. There's this particular certificate that they provide you here. It's not the International Child Protection Certificate that's the British Council asks you for, and that's valid for the first year you do. But even for if for some reason they come back to me and say, oh hey, you got a placement from the British Council, la da da, you know, it could still happen. Their course starts in October, not September, so they have an extra month, but, you know, better safe than sorry. But, you know, if that happens, then I would need that certificate anyway, because it's a recent law change over here in Spain, and you know, basically, you know, because I think also because the background check they do in the UK is only for UK specific, and my understanding was that, you know, they check for stuff, you know, in Spain as well, you know, in case anything happened during the first year. That's the idea. And that was my understanding. For reasons now, I'm sort of I sort of have my doubts, but I'll get to those doubts. That finally almost brings us to the first point I said I'd get back to. There are two ways of applying for this certificate, basically. Remember how I mentioned this thing called Clave, that was like the digital registry thing in Spain that you can do if you have a DNI, or, you know, if you apply through certain ways or something like that. And, you know, with different numbers and, you know, blah 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 blah, that stuff. Yeah, so you can apply through them basically if you give them your Clave details or your DNI or, you know, other stuff. Otherwise, the other option is to book a physical appointment and just show up. Guess which one I did? So yeah, today I had that. In fact, I specifically picked Wednesday because I was when I went to renew my passport, it was on Monday, and I regretted that because I could have gone a day of filming in London, in for some reason both the most beautiful and ugliest part of town at the same time. I don't know how they managed that, but there you go. It's a miraculous combination, let's say. But yeah, sorry, I'm just looking around here, making sure, because I mean we used to take the bus along this route. It's just like where do I turn, basically? And is it still the same turn as before, or have they, you know, rebuilt the entire thing? Because they could have done that. fact, I should be on the other side of the road anyway, because that's where the bus normally turned. Whoops. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was over there. I'll have to loop around. There you go. I go in circles and circles like the Spanish bureaucracy system, as the people at Goldilocks pointed out to me. I'm not going to say their name. I'm just going to call them Goldilocks. And also, just in general, you know, being where we are now. So yeah. But my you'd have thought, okay, fine, you know, just okay, so you know, book a flight on one day, you know, book a flight the day before, right there before, you know, leave the day after, you know, get a few days in Madrid while you're at it. And to some degree, that's exactly what happened, yes. But you know, on another level, it's never quite so simple. So when I went to Peru, I actually had a Peruvian sim with me, and so because of that, I took out the Spanish sim that I have and replaced it with a Peruvian one. You know, pretty simple process to, you know, understand and whatnot. But then what happened was, I was going to say. But then what happened was, once I got back and I switched the sims around, I forgot that the Spanish sim was out of data. Which, you know, it's fine most of the time, because if there's one city that I can, you know, very easily find my way in, it's Madrid. I mentioned it before, but I've memorized a few of the metro lines from way back in the day. And green lights. And the ones that I haven't memorized completely, I still know enough to be like, okay, fine, I'll check them out for 2 seconds and then I'll be on my way, you know? So, you know, the metro system is perfect for getting around, basically. And also another good reason to work in Madrid, because everywhere you can go, you can either take a bus or a train. And it's, which is easy to navigate in London Underground. Just don't go on cercanías. Whatever you do, don't go on cercanías. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You have been warned. Probably breathe as well. Disadvantage is very stuffy in the summer, apart from when the wind blows, like it is right now. So we're doing this. So yeah, once I arrived, I took my secret exit out of the airport. You know what? I'm gonna go down here. I've never actually been down this area, I don't think, even though it was on the school route. Something in my eye. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah. So if you don't know, what happens is if on the metro for the airport, there's actually like an extra charge specifically for the two stations that are called, you know, airport something. But here's the thing: there's a station in between them doesn't have that. So let's say if you happen to know and happen to have explored the city of Barajas beforehand and found a convenient entrance into the airport, then you can easily take that exit and go out without having to add any sort of charge whatsoever to your ticket that you already have with you because you've been to Madrid before. You know, just spitballing here basically. And I forgot how noisy this bridge was. This is going to be interesting. And yes, I should have crossed to the other side before, because now it's going to be a little bit of a challenge here as well. But anyway, so once I arrived, it did take a little bit of a while to actually locate the metro station. Turns out that Barajas is a little bit larger than I give it credit for, but you know, nothing too bad. And I think I still hadn't noticed about the data in this case, because I was just going around looking for a sign, basically. And yeah, I eventually found the sign. So I got on the metro and, you know, sped down line 8, the fastest line of all the metro actually. That's just what they actually have. Oh hey, there is something here that's a little bit like New York actually. One of these. I was thinking before about the lack of public transportation and such, but you know, compared to here. But hey, it works. So yeah, it's still in my eye. There it is. Yeah, so afterwards, basically, or well, during that train ride, I checked on my phone, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll put into you know, Google Maps now to see you know, where the hotel is, because I know roughly what station to get off, but you know, from there, you know, the walking part, not so much. So yeah, I checked on Google Maps and error is what came up, or some sort of thing. Check your internet connection. So I tried again, didn't work. By that point I was realizing, oh wait a minute, I haven't charged the data on this thing. Oh dear. Hopefully I won't end up getting having a problem when it comes to checking in. Because if you remember, back in London I actually had an issue where I got to a hotel past midnight and there was just nobody there. The whole place looked closed down and I had to navigate around London at night to find a different place that I could book immediately. And even though I was physically there, it took booking.com to actually make a difference. So yeah, I mean, I was right outside the door and they said, no, we only do bookings through booking.com. It's like, well, I'm right here, hello. Going back to the you know, the job comparison, actually, apparently there was some there was some, it was either middle-aged or elderly gentleman who was going for apply for a job for the first time in a while. He just showed up to a place with his references on paper and said, hey, can I get a job please? And they were like, well no, you need to go through, you know, this channel or whatever, or we advertise on, you know, Indeed or LinkedIn or blah blah blah. Those things are convenient for people doing things remotely, but my goodness, it's you know, if you replace the stuff that already worked, it's just as well that I can actually, you know, physically show up at all. I don't have to try to navigate through and get a clave appointment, which I tried to do while I was in Galicia, and those also would have required a physical appointment for me, except they didn't have that feature open at the time. So yeah, not ideal at all. So yeah, no. Right. Stop and go. I can get myself a refreshing beverage. I need one. I already had a red peach Aquarius today, but they're not sponsored. But there you go. So yeah, once I got to the metro station I needed, I got out and I immediately started searching around for restaurants, knowing that some of them could offer free Wi-Fi, and also I was hungry in general anyway. My original plan was go get food before checking into the hotel, but given what was happening, I was like, okay, I better find the hotel first, then I'll deal with food. So with that in mind, I tried that. And actually, turns out that the Wi-Fi from Taco Bell specifically, which remember I've only ever been in once before, was pretty ideal for this situation. So that's where we went, Taco Bell. Was I went, I'm not saying we went. So I'm thinking what we used to do when we came down more or less where we are now, so it didn't have all this stuff here. Which was the classic, we take insert size steps in this family, basically.
Hola, buenas, ¿qué tal?
Hola, buenas. Pero pensé que había un camino por aquí antes, pero ya... Hace mucho que no vengo por aquí. Yeah, confusing. Yes, I'm pretty sure we took a turn before now. Last time I went down here, it was actually in someone's car, and it was also nighttime. But yeah. Turns out if you're not on the right side of the bridge, it's trouble for you. Even if you try to get on the correct path afterwards. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Still see all of the various football fields or pistas that we never actually went to, except for two specific ones. They're now blocked by a bunch of stuff, so that's that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was at so while I was at Taco Bell, I then I then realized how many messages I was getting. You know, the classic ones of, you know, are you at the hotel yet? From concerned parents, to which I tried to send back messages beforehand, but you know I couldn't do so. That's another thing. I received messages on the train, but I couldn't send them. I don't know why that happened. But yeah, we tried. Yes or no? I tried what I could. Tried to download a particular a new like offline maps navigation thing, so Google Maps wouldn't close on me. I also made sure to remember roughly what direction I was supposed to go in. But yeah, the offline maps one eventually worked. Even though I couldn't download the full Madrid city package, which is also pointless now that I've tried that, you know, the day after. And then I was on my way. I couldn't update until, I presume, my parents were both asleep, so they didn't see the update after it came. So I'm hoping they didn't end up falling asleep while too concerned. Because bear in mind, you know, we've all assured each other, yeah, that, you know, Madrid is one of the places that, you know, if I needed to, I could literally just, you know, knock on someone's door and be like, hey, I need to at least use your data, or at least charge and stuff. If you know, I show up randomly, I'm not going to crash you necessarily, although I probably could do that in an emergency, but you know, not. I did warn people I was going to be coming this week, but it was such short notice that there wasn't really much time for anything. So the conversation was, "Oh yeah, fantastic. How long are you staying for?" 3 days. Okay, and that's it. Sorry. Once again, I was like, okay, this. I tried to double round. It does not look familiar. This ain't familiar. It's gonna be like a Paddington situation where I just run out of material before I actually show Paddington himself. Although I did notice in that one, I actually passed Paddington a couple of times in that Walking Wednesday from Machu Picchu. So. You never know. So yeah, but I did eventually get to the hotel. Turns out that I could have gone off one station earlier than I did, and it would have been far better. It also wasn't as it didn't stick out as much as I was told, because there were two hotels with the same name, or the same brand basically. Only one of them has the bright neon lights and the huge stature. So now I know. And yeah, I got back very late, and I just but I was still very hungry. So the only place that was open was McDonald's. So there I went, and then. I'm going to try and see if I can get away from the road a little bit more. And that was the first night. And then of course, you know, the second day, because I had the hotel Wi-Fi, I was able to use it. Fantastic. And then you know, got the city package that I thought was going to help. It didn't really, so I just programmed the place again and waited for whenever I was actually much nearer. Because of course it says an hour and 14 minutes walking, but obviously that's from the hotel. You know, we have trains to help with that process. There was one other thing that I thought might have been important, because I remembered that when I went to renew my passport, well, as you know, that was not for my passport, they snipped that one. But when I went to apply for the study visa, I remember that they actually kept my passport to put the visa in the passport and sent it back to me. Now, of course, I couldn't have that happen because, you know, I'm leaving tomorrow and I kind of need my passport to do that. So what ended up happening was sorry again. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother trying to find the path now. I'm just gonna walk. Some nice scenery anyway. The school's not even there anymore. They closed it down the year that we left. There's actually news footage of me while they were covering that you know, gigantic event basically from 2012. But yeah, in any case, what was I gonna say? Nope, forgot now. Oh yeah, so today, what happened? Yeah, so because I thought, hey, if they have to keep the document that I give them for whatever reason, I better give them the photocopy to hold on to, rather than, you know, the original that I need. And they said that, oh, you know, this could please allow up to 20 days, but it should be back within a week, basically. Neither one of those would have worked. So, so yeah, we, I keep saying we. I looked for a couple of photocopy places that were near to the actual building I need to go to. Two of them were closed down, were closed for the holidays, which they don't say on Google Maps, but they say once you get to their front door. So I found out once I got to their front door. And yeah, sorry, I'm trying to focus on two things at once. And also found my mouth's getting dry. I need to wrap this up. I get that refreshment from the super cool that I saw. Super cool that I saw. But yeah, we Nope, I did it again. Just right now. I did it again. I don't think too much about the past and the present at the same time, otherwise you end up with your head exploding. So yeah, I found a third place that was open and did the photocopies there. I also happened to get a notebook that was I don't know if I've talked about Mortadelo y Filemón on this channel before. Probably the most famous Spanish comic characters of all time. I found a notebook of Mortadelo they were selling for €1, and the lady was very proud of the fact that they actually that it was actually printed in 1989. So it was from the era. Well, I say that Mortadelo y Filemón ran from 1958 to 2024 posthumously. So the era covers a lot, but still, it's a little piece of history that I will definitely use for something once I think of another Spanish book, and I'm done with the one that I currently have. Another reason why I like to go back to Spain, so I can actually, physically show up to publishing places, but that's obviously very secondary. But it would still be very, very nice to do. And yeah, we oh, I said wait that again. Yeah, I got the photocopies. As it turns out, when I went to the actual place, I went through their mini security thing. I cleared up some doubts that I had. Then as soon as I actually passed security, the thing with my name actually dinged, and then I went up, and this is where my other doubts started to come in, because once the lady explained the process, or she actually looked at the original document rather than a photocopy, which means my detour was pointless aside from the Mortadelo notebook, which honestly was worth it anyway. And then she checked things, and then she said it will take. I'll get an email for it, which I already knew because that's what they said on their website. They said, "Oh, we got to check with Ireland." I was like, "Ireland? Wait, which country was it? United Kingdom." I was like, "Okay, just don't file Ireland for me, please." But that's why I'm doubting, because the whole point of this is to clarify that nothing has been committed in Spain on top of the international version, but they have to check with the UK. I'm guessing they're going to do both the UK and Spain, is my understanding right now. And also, weirdly enough, it actually on the website it says that the background check is permanent, which I can't imagine how it could be if, you know, it's supposed to update, or maybe let's say that maybe someone can ask for an up-to-date one, or they can or if there's like some, you know, major thing, that's when it would change. But as far as I understand, yeah, having a permanent one is probably counterintuitive for some people, but fantastic for me, obviously. So yeah, that's where we are now, or where I am now, well, you know, where everyone is. So I've done that. I decided to go around a bit more of a scenic route and film some stuff. But yeah, it has been quite an exhausting process and quite an exhausting week as well. Because, you know, not only has it been not only have I ended up basically you know, trying to do the thing that I basically risked in the first place, because I wanted to, you know, have a different placement from somewhere else. Not that I knew the whole Andalusia thing was going to happen. But also, who knows what might end up, you know, occurring over this time to next month, or even October, when things were supposed to start. And obviously, with my renewed passport, and it no longer says European Union on it. And this time, when I was going through passport control, there were a few people who like wanted to like stick with their friends, even though like one of the ladies was trying to indicate them to go towards them. And then I was just like, okay, you go there, I'll go. I went to the lady, and you know, she was you know, very jovial, being like, you know, nadie me quiere, nobody loves me. And I was like, oh well, I don't know. I was clearly laughing at the occurrence. And then she saw my passport and switched immediately to English, which, I mean, I guess British passport, sure. Maybe she thought I was just laughing to be polite and didn't actually understand or whatever. But as she defaults and started to ask me, you know, are you coming out to do you live here? I said, well, I used to. And then, like, well, but do you have your residence permission or something? Like, clearly thinking I was going to stay for much longer. Then I said, oh, I'm only here for 3 days. But, you know, I haven't had that, I had that level of questioning from Peru, which, you know, fine, it's Peru, I've never been there before, so be it. But yeah, brand new passport with new, with no stamps or anything. Maybe there were so many stamps from Santiago and Madrid that they were just like, oh, okay, this person comes and goes all the time. Maybe that was it. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, you know, even though it has been almost 10 years, the fact that the final EU buffer was there, it's almost enough to make people feel unwelcome in the place that was almost their home. After, you know, all the bureaucracy stuff, the fact that work visas don't tend to work, the fact that work permits require you to say that someone from the EU or Spanish resident can't take up that position. I mean, yeah, it's just one of the things where, you know, once I'm here, you know, it feels like home. And but yeah, beforehand, it's just like, you know, they want nothing to do with you. And I know that's almost, you know, universal for, you know, immigrants of all types. But, you know, it's just very sobering when it happens to you. Especially when you were so close beforehand to actually applying for citizenship anyway. If only we had been for 6 more months. If only we knew. If only we knew. But yeah, and so people are wondering why I haven't cancelled, why I don't turn down the D&D session. That requires a lot of preparation from me, because it's part of my own character's backstory, which is happening immediately the night that I come back. Why I haven't cancelled it, because, you know, even if it's going to end up, you know, being stressful or tiresome, I booked an early flight anyway. Even if it does end up happening, I kind of need it, I think. You know, it's just I want something to to go right, or to or, you know, to look forward to, aside from being here in Madrid. I'll pause and then have a rummage around if I feel nostalgic for the school after I finish filming. or if I'm just too thirsty, I will leave it for another day. Because we got a good walk out of it, and that was what I wanted this whole time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot. Hopefully some of you tune in for that. You know, I've been tinkering with you know, other characters that are, you know, like family and friends. And Vin has been asking me questions about the setting. So yeah, to Vin I will say, if you want, you know, if I ask any questions, however tedious they are, within the next 24 hours, go for it, because I need something else to focus on, quite honestly, no matter where I am in the world. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy that one tomorrow, I guess. And in the meantime, I need a drink. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.